Most people have no idea how to invest in themselves. You may have invested in your career or you may have invested in a house, but truly, what does it mean to truly invest in yourself? And I venture to say that most people know how to spend on themselves, but most people don't know how to invest in themselves. Hi, my name is Alexandra Epple and I'm outside in my garden. Right now it's beautiful outside and I want to talk to you about how to invest in yourself versus spending on yourself. Well, let's start with the basics. If you spend on something, you are getting a short-term result. If you're investing in something, you're getting a long-term positive result. So for example, if you're buying an ice cream cone, you are spending your money for short-term delight. You're eating that ice cream and it's like, yeah, that's yummy and whatnot. But ultimately, an hour later, or at least the next day, you realize, oh, all I am gaining from that ice cream is maybe my belt being tighter on my pants. You know, there's lots of things we're spending money on. There's, I don't know, women spend money on clothes or having their nails done or buying new shoes or buying yet another hat where they already have 10 hats or scarf or whatever it is. But ultimately, your level of happiness doesn't change when you spend. Quite the contrary, when you invest, there's something that is shifting inside of you and something that you're shifting as part of your character or personality, where you're like, wow, that is giving me lasting happiness and lasting joy and a lasting sense of well-being. So that's really what investing is all about. And quite frankly, I had no idea how to invest in myself many years ago. And I remember back when I was first investing in a yoga teacher training. It was a 2-month training. It cost $3,000. It was a ton of money for me at the time. It was a 2-month full-time training. And I was making $12 an hour at that time. But there was just something inside of me that said, you gotta go to this teacher training. And I should say that was way before I started a wellness career, way before I was a health coach, way before I was a yoga teacher, way before I was a massage therapist, way before I was a body worker, way before I have anything to do career-wise with health. And so it was really just like, wow, you're going to this teacher training and that's just for me. And on top of it, I had to either quit my job. I was working as an executive assistant at the time. So I either had to quit that job because I was going to be gone for 2 months or find some kind of way to be gone for 2 months and my boss being okay with it. And so, but my inside just said, hell yes, you got to do this. And honestly, it was the best investment I've ever made because it set me up on the road to feel good about myself, let go of belief systems, get rid of a lot of guilt that I was carrying from my upbringing. There were so many things that kind of opened up through this yoga teacher training. And then over time, of course, I invested more and more in myself, in my own self-development. Not necessarily in my career per se, but just to become the person who I am today. So my question to you is, how have you invested in yourself lately? What have you done to allocate some funds, not only money-wise, but time-wise, where you are filling your own cup? Here's the thing. How do we know what to invest in next? You know, there's lots of areas we can invest in, right? We can invest in our careers. We can invest in knowing how to handle our finances. We can invest in our family. We can invest in our health and our physical health, our mental health, our emotional health, all of those things. And how do we know that something we put our eyes on is the right thing to invest in? And what I do personally is I just look for a hell yes inside. It's less about the information that I'm getting rather than the feeling I'm getting from someone, the feeling I'm getting from a particular program I'm looking at or a particular class I want to do. And just recently I signed up for a shamanic workshop, and I have no idea what shamanism really is. I have sort of an idea, but just like for a while I've been drawn to this. And I got this message of, hey, you gotta connect to your spirit guides. And so I just signed up for the shamanic workshop, and I have no idea really who this person is or what are we going to learn exactly. It was more like, yes, you gotta do this. And when I get a hell yes inside, almost it doesn't matter how much that thing costs or where it is. It's just there's a certain alignment that comes with it. So that's probably that's my go-to indicator whether I should invest in something. And I always look at long-term results, but truly I think what it comes down to for me is it gotta start out with the foundation, and the foundation for me is always health. Because if you don't have health, you can invest in your career, you can invest in all kinds of things, but if you don't have health, everything else sucks. And if you look at what Warren Buffett said, if you don't know Warren Buffett, but he was one of the biggest investors of the 20th century. He's arguably the richest man on the planet, and he does a lot of investing. So Time magazine once asked him, hey, what's your best investment advice? And Warren Buffett said, you only get one mind and you only get one body, and it's got to last a lifetime. Now, it's very easy to let them ride for many years, but if you don't take care of that mind and that body, there'll be a wreck 40 years later. So the biggest investor of this century, of this past century, said, you gotta invest in your body and your mind. So my question to you is, when is the last time you've truly invested, not just spent on your health, but really invested in your health to get the guidance, the support, and the education that you need to make a lasting shift? So I'm gonna leave you with that question. And this is Alexandra. That's all I've got for you today. Signing off. Bye for now.